everyone. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartree here with another episode of Presenting Champions. Today joined by a very special guest who I'm truly honored, truly blessed to have on the show. And today's guest, legendary former professional sumo wrestler Ōsunaarashi, who is not only the first sumo wrestler from the African continent, also reached a very high level in sumo in Japan, was immensely popular with the Japanese public. Post-sumo career has also competed in MMA as well. He has multiple championship achievements in sumo, ranging from medals in his early career in Europe through to obviously championships won in Japan, through to his post-career. So we'll be talking a bit about everything. We'll be talking about the mindset it takes to become a champion, to reach the highest level in such a tough sport, the challenges that he had to overcome to get there, advice for the young generation coming through, and a lot more. So everybody stay tuned. But before we get into that, thank you so much, like I just said, Champ, for coming on the show and everything and fitting this into your schedule. I'm really honored to have you, so thank you.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, quick intro. I mean, hopefully I didn't miss anything there, but if I did, we'll get into that now in a moment. So getting into it straight off the bat, I mean, obviously you achieved a great deal in your career. I mean, there's obviously other things I didn't mention, including the ambassadorship between Egypt and Japan that you were doing, sort of raising awareness there. And there's a lot of cool things. Focusing specifically on the sumo for a moment, when you look back on your career now, what are some of your proudest moments? And I know this is a big question to start with, but I love asking this question because you often don't get the answer that you expect, and it opens up into some nice different things. Do you have particular matches or particular times that you're most proud of? Maybe a particular championship. Maybe there's more than one. I don't know, but let's start there in your own words, please.
Okay, so normally for any sumo wrestler, like the happiest moment of any sumo wrestler is the time he moved from the lower ranks to the higher ranks. So normally when we are at the rank of Makushita is the highest rank of the lower ranks. So everybody is trying to do as best as they can, so they can get upgraded from Makushita to Juryo. So you can, everybody keep playing the ranks until this rank. You will feel no difference between this rank and Juryo, which is the first rank of the high ranks. So when my last competition in Makushita, I got the championship of that, and that was the happiest moment, or like, let's say, the first happiest moment in my sumo career, which is moving from Makushita to Juryo and become like the fastest foreigner sumo wrestler to reach the top ranks. And in that, I had the same record as Baruto, which was the wrestler from Estonia, and Konishiki, and he was the first American wrestler. So three of us, we share the same record, which is the fastest wrestler in sumo in the history of sumo to get to the Juryo rank. And second happy moment, it was when I moved from Juryo to the Maigashira. I was faster than both of them. That was for me like I was so satisfied with that moment, like be having that record until now, and hopefully like in at the near future, like more Egyptian will join sumo and will break this record.
Absolutely, an incredible achievement, part of history, and I'm very grateful that we got to give that a mention. Yes, I hope that more Egyptians and more people from all different countries will join sumo. It's such an amazing
Hopefully,
sport. I hope
yeah.
so, and obviously you are doing some great work promoting that side of things, which we'll get to in a moment.
I'm trying to right now. I'm trying to explain the culture of sumo into the Arab world, because and next year in May they're gonna be a World Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be a big event over there, and sumo is going to be part of this event. So what I'm trying to do right now, and I wish like I hope it will go like in a good way. I wanna I wanna create a sumo team in most of the Arab countries because I want by this competition I want at least 4 or 5 Arab teams, participate in this competition. So hopefully I'm on the right path right now and we're working on it. So we'll let you know with the updates with that.
Amazing, but it's amazing work you're doing, giving back, and contributing to the sport, and obviously to all of the athletes that then has a positive impact on. I love that, and that was one of the big reasons I wanted to talk to you anyway. Is you do take that time to give back, and everything. Obviously, one of the things I mentioned at the beginning is about advice for like the youth or people who are coming through who want to achieve something big. Whether it's specifically in sumo or whether it's in sports in general, the reason I'm getting at this is obviously for you, it was not an easy journey. I mean, you've got obviously moving to Japan, totally different culture. You've got the whole fasting while you were training thing,
Yep.
which is just amazing. You've got the different challenges you overcame to get where you are. So for people watching this around the world who, they have a dream, they have a goal, they want to get somewhere, in sports, what advice would you give to those people who are sort of starting out type of thing? I know it's another big question. I was going to ask it at the end, but I thought, well, we'll get into it now because we've started with your giving back type of process. So, what would be some advice you regard as being essential to succeed in life, basically?
So for me personally, I will not say it like as an advice. I will say like as chit chat between two friends. So whoever's listening to me, let's not don't take it as an advice. Just take it as some chat between two friends. So for me, like the very first thing to think about it is not to be afraid of doing mistakes. Don't be afraid of the challenges. Don't be afraid of because us as a human beings, most of us are afraid of the new things. We might do mistakes. We might, you know, we might go down, but it depends on the way you're gonna deal with it. So whatever the mistake you're dealing with, whatever the struggle you're facing, it's not the end of the life. It's not even the end of the day. It will take its time and you're gonna move on. But you are the same person and you're the one who decide whatever you want to be. If you want to be at the top, if you want to be at the bottom, if you want to keep struggling all your life.
Mhm.
So you as a human being, everybody struggles. But when you're during the struggle, don't don't focus on what you are facing. Focus on what you're gonna face after you get over it. It's not an easy thing to do, but if you really believe in what you're doing and if you believe in your power that you're gonna achieve whatever you want, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about like you're gonna face problems. Don't worry about struggles. Don't worry about any problems you're gonna have. You're gonna go through that all. So keep going. All what you need to do is just keep going. Stay on your feet and keep fighting. That's all what you need.
Yeah. That's amazing advice, That's really, really good advice. And I know you say it's like the connection between friends, and I like that as well. But it's good wisdom. Let's put it that way. Knowledge that you've
Because
gained.
the thing is that like for me personally, I don't like somebody to give me an advice, and that's not a good thing. Let's face the reality. That's not a good thing. And a lot of athletes, uh, they have they have the same thing. Not most of them, but a lot of them they don't take advice. So since I don't like to take advice, I don't like to give advice as well. So let's consider it as a chit chat between two friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
like you.
I like the
Go ahead.
outlook on it. Sorry to
Thank
cut
you.
in, but I just say
No,
I
no,
like
it's
the,
okay.
the outlook on that. It's a good way of looking at
Mm.
it, and it possibly makes people more receptive to actually listening to that and taking it on board. So
That's true. That's true
yeah,
because when I was a fighter, I honestly I never listened to any advices, even if I know that it's like, you know, it, it's for me, and if I did, if I go with that advice, I'm going to be better. But I always believe in this is my life, and whatever the decision I will take, I have to take the whole responsibility for it.
Mm.
So it doesn't matter the decision you take, since you have the whole responsibility. This is your life. This is your path.
Yeah,
So hopefully everybody whoever like has a dream, like to achieve it, because that's what you live for. You live for a purpose. You don't live to eat and sleep. So wishing everybody the best of luck.
absolutely. Well, it's some absolute golden wisdom there. I mean, it's brilliant, and yeah, it'll help people. I mean, it will, because when I put this out there and it go all around the world and stuff, that hopefully some of that advice will filter down to the new generations and to whoever needs to hear it. So fantastic there. Now, another thing, as soon as we were on the subject of challenges and things like that, one of the things I find fascinating about your journey through sumo was obviously the whole fasting thing, obviously during Ramadan and everything like that. Because sumo, it is known as that sport where people have to eat so much and they have to be so big and everything. Obviously, I know there's a lot more to it than that in the culture, but at the same time, you couldn't always do that. You had to one stay true to your faith, obviously, but also actually fast and train. So I really think that's an interesting thing to sort of touch on that people will find interesting is how you overcame that challenge and the process that you went through to maintain that level of discipline and obviously still succeed. It's something you don't hear about very often. So I don't have a really narrow question about it, but just that process that you went through when it was necessary to fast. How did you sort of keep the strength to keep pushing, in those times?
Perfect. Okay, so for me, like since I started sumo, uh, I always have that belief that whatever my religion is, this is something between me and my God. So at the beginning, I didn't like the way they try to focus on how it's going to be a challenge. In that time, I never take it as a challenge, because for me, this is something has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So what I believe in. So if I pray, if I fast, whatever I do, whatever is my relation between me and my God, whatever I do about it, this has like, you know, it shouldn't affect on what I'm doing. It shouldn't affect sumo. It shouldn't affect my work, whatever my work is. It shouldn't
Mm.
affect it.
Yes.
So when the media try to focus on how I'm fighting while I'm fasting, in that time, like I didn't want to show it, but when it happened, that everybody want to see, hey, this is not a challenge, guys.
Mm.
I'm doing this normally. I'm doing this since I was 5 years old. So when I'm
Absolutely.
doing this and training, no, this is not a challenge. This is normal. This is like normal life. The real challenge is the one on the dohyo, the one in the arena. That's the challenge. That's uh, like when you have a good fight, when you have a good winning, that's the challenge. When you move from uh, 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 like a grade to grade, a rank to a higher rank, that's the real challenge. But
Mm.
when you mix two different things, and one of them is your normal with what's new on you, which is your work. No,
Mm.
this is not challenge. This is something going wrong with your mind.
Right, right.
So hey, like me as Ōsunaarashi, yeah, I was fasting and I was fighting the time I was fasting as well. No, that's not challenge. The only challenge was the fight, not the
Mm.
fasting.
Yeah. It makes
And
sense. It makes sense.
exactly, and we all should, because like at the end we're human being. If I kept like convincing myself this is hard to do, and I won't be like, it's a big challenge for me, this will take literally a piece of my mind thinking about how I'm going to go through this challenge, and will it like at least 20% going out of my focus if I'm focused on fighting. So
mm,
I'm going like I'm when I was fighting at Ramadan, the fasting time, I was fighting at a very late time, like around 5 p.m., which was the end of the day of fasting. So I was literally exhausted.
mm,
So in that time, if I thought about it like uh, I'm going to lose or I don't have enough power, I will never lose. Like I will never win.
mm.
But I fought when I was fasting and I beat the Yokozuna.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, in that day, fasting was not a problem at all.
Mm,
I beat the Yoko like yeah, like they everybody was in that day. They didn't say the Yokozuna lost. He said Yokozuna lost by Ōsunaarashi while
mm,
he was fasting. And
mm.
until right now, it's this like those few words still so big in the sumo world. But for that wrestler, for Ōsunaarashi, no, that should be you're a fighter. Doesn't matter if you're fasting or if you're not fasting. If you don't eat, no, you're a fighter. This is your like your job. You have to do it as it should be. Doesn't matter what you believe. Doesn't matter what you're doing. No, this is your reality right now. So you gotta face it.
Yeah. Well, you know something, just to be clear on something there. First of all, I love the answer because it's actually very profound in a lot of ways, you know. But I asked that question because, first of all, I don't pigeonhole, personally now, I don't pigeonhole you as being this, that, or the other in any way. I actually respect, part of the reason I asked that question is I actually greatly respect the authenticity that, you know, that it takes to be so true to yourself in that way even in a different culture and these sorts of things. So I was looking at it more from that point of view. But I totally get how the media they blow a lot of stuff out of proportion. I mean that's what the media that's what
Mhm.
they do. I mean
That's true.
you know that's a big part of their job to sort of get clicks on things and to sell papers and to do all these different things. So I do respect that. But actually personally I was looking at it from the positive side of you know how you remain so true to yourself in that way. But it's and it's also a good lesson in mindset as well again, for anyone listening to this, people can maybe learn from that a little bit. Obviously, we talked earlier about your proudest moments in sumo, but I do want to touch on your sort of biggest challenges in sumo because we're on the subject of challenges, and by that I mean the toughest fights, the toughest competitions. You know, the ones that you um, not so much struggle to overcome, but the ones that were the most challenging in that way. Maybe then the win was more satisfying. Maybe they're all satisfying. I don't know. But it's something. This comes up with every interview I do in terms of even if it's like MMA or boxing or something else. The most fan-friendly question is always, you know, what was the toughest fight? So I thought we'd put that in here because it's a fan favorite, if you don't mind. So which ones sort of stand out to you now, looking back as being your toughest opponents, basically?
Okay, so it's not one moment. There's a lot of fights which I I even myself I still watch it until this moment. I like to watch that fight. So for example, one of them was my first fight with Hakuho. That fight it took about I think like 2 or 3 minutes. I kept like rolling around the ring. I tried to you know I was about to win in that fight, but at the end, let me tell you something. I always, I never say it to anyone. I never consider myself as a technical athlete, a technical sumo wrestler. Not at all. I in sumo, I used to see myself like I'm the most powerful person at this ring right now. But a lot of people are more technical than me, and this is how I lost each and every fight. Either I lose the stamina, or the other one is like his body is softer than my body. His body is they have a word in Japanese they call yawarakai. Yawarakai means same as what Bruce Lee said, be water, and that was Hakuho. So I fought Hakuho about like three I think as I remember three times or four times.
Phone
It's
disconnected.
it was three times, yeah. And in those three times, I lost the three times with Hakuho. All the three times I lost it because his body was softer than my body. His techniques are way better than my techniques, and this is not a bad thing. So for as an athlete, it's not a bad thing that you're not technical or not. Since you like, if you are powerful and you know how to use this power, that's the key to the to a success for your way, the way your body made up. So yeah, my first fight with Hakoho was one of the fights I like as well. And second fight with Haruma Fuji, I won that fight. That one was good because Haruma Fuji is one of the fastest sumo wrestler I've ever seen in my whole life, to be honest. And his techniques, his attacks and the counter attack, uh, like in that fight, if you saw that fight, the fight took about like 3 minutes. It took very long time. I was, I was more defensive than attack. I didn't want to attack because I know whatever I'm going to do, he gonna have the suitable counter attack for it, and he gonna win. So I tried to hold my position. I hold my position for about like 1 minute, 1.5 minute, and then when I have the full control of it, I waited for 1.5 minutes at the same position, which doesn't happen in sumo. I didn't want to take any attack because I know if I attack, if I take any move, his like even if his body on a loose position, he doesn't have any. I have the full control of his body with my power. But even though that time, I didn't trust that something might happen. So it took me like 1.5 minute to decide that this is the right time. I have the full control. Go for it. I go for it, and here we go. Uh, third one was my very first fight in sumo, which is the Mai Zumo fight. So I like before my first fight, it had been like 6 months. I was in the sumo stable and I was training with the guys every day. So as I mentioned earlier, my body is not soft, so my body was really hard in that time. Was literally muscular, and I know a very very you know uh, 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 like not not big techniques, not you know not a guy with experience. I just have few techniques which I just, hey, you gotta push at the throat. So this is what I use, and that guy was injured literally after the fight. So yeah, like it was a bit bad, but since then we're friends and we still communicate, and I'm still in connection with most of the guys in sumo until now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's both the fight are like I always remember it, and even my son, he liked to see those fighters as well. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I bet your kids love it. I mean, the ones that are old enough, they that must be very nice to show them and sort of remember in that way. That's quite lovely, actually.
it's
Um,
the two of my sons, like the big one, like the 5 years old one, he doesn't like sumo. So every
okay.
time, like the small one, which is 1.5 year, he like to watch sumo. So every time I try to show sumo to the old one, he said, "No, I don't like this Ōsunaarashi. This Ōsunaarashi has a lot of hair. I don't like him. Give me the other one." And he literally opened the fight, the MMA fight me and Bob had. He said, "See, this is bold same as Papa right now. So I like this one." So yeah, the old one he like MMA. Second one he like sumo. So hopefully both would stay the same path.
Oh, amazing. That's very cool, actually. So another thing to touch on here as well that I think people would love to hear about is obviously you made the decision to move over into MMA at one point as well, and you obviously fought Bob Sapp, tremendous athlete as well. And I think it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on your experience with MMA, what inspired the transition. Now, obviously, I am aware of the whole car crash thing and all that, but I don't really want to dwell on
Okay.
anything negative. I mean, you can bring it up if you want to, but I just want you to know that I'm a very positive
I will
interviewer.
look. Okay. Long story short, even before the car crash, before all that, I was in that moment that I need to change. That's personally, like, I need to change. It has been enough for me in sumo, because I'm a guy. I don't like to stay at the same thing. This is something like I never said before. So at at my last year of sumo, I was about, that will be that's already too much for me in sumo. I need to change. I need to do something else. And after the car crash, I already decided that's it. And it took about 3 months to get the the announcement of the Nihon Sumo Association. They said, okay, we will let you get out. It had, at the last day, or they call it a court, like, they make a kind of court. Me and all the other oyakatas, all the other sumo stable masters, they 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 sit in front of me and they try to give me a decision, the best decision for, you know decision and penalty as well.
Mm.
And in that, like, in that time, we stayed for like 3 hours. They try to talk to me. Hey, you're gonna start from the my sumo. They want, hey, you will you they don't want me to get out of sumo. They want me to add a penalty. Just stay, but you're gonna we have to apply a penalty on you. So there was two penalties they wanted to apply. Either I keep fighting 2 years with no salary, or I start from my sumo again. So they, you know, they usually at this case, they cut the hair and they let you start from my sumo. So they say, we will not cut your hair, but you gotta have to start from my sumo again. Or you can keep fighting at your rank for 2 years with no salary. Before that, I was already, I was not like fully decided, but I had too much of sumo. I my achievements, or all the bad things around sumo. We won't say any details, but you already had enough of that, so you just want to change. After the car crash and all that, hey guys, I want to leave. No, you gotta. We don't want you to leave. If you left, it's going to be another problem, and sumo won't handle more problems right now. So for me, it was the end of it. And since they find no chance for me to change my decision, so okay, there is no Dumbus key for you. Like, your hair, you cut your hair by your own, and that's it. Since you left the room, since you leave this room, you're already out of sumo. And that was it. I left
Mm.
the room. The same night, I had a meeting with the MMA association, and hey, you're gonna fight. And I said, okay, I don't mind. And I came here to the US to train. I trained with Josh Bonnet, and he was doing really well. But to be honest, I was not ready to add more information to my mind. Like, I just needed a time off of everything. I need to be away. I don't not just from sumo. I need to be away from sports. I need to be away from the whole world. That's why, like, after the fight of Bob Sapp, I changed my whole life completely. I want to live a normal life right now. I just wanna be a full time dad. I need to focus on that thing right now. During that time, had a lot of offers to get back to MMA. I had an offer from WWE, but I'm still convinced, like I'm still convinced that this is the right decision for me right now. I'm more satisfied with what I'm having. Like, yeah, I don't know what gonna happen tomorrow, but maybe like if I consider like doing sports again, I might like get back as an athlete to MMA.
Mm.
But for sumo, this is like in my blood, you know. If I didn't fight sumo, like I keep thinking about it. This is how like I grew up in Japan. I grew up inside the sumo world. So even being a bad kid, even being a bad boy, you still have the mentality of you're a sumoist. You grow up in this culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, my dream right now is to get to make a sumo teams in the Arab countries, and this is what I'm working on. This is in general. For me personally, if I get back to sports, so might be on MMA because, to be honest, because of my son, because he want to try, he want to train, and he want to train with me. So I think I might do it, but I'm still literally thinking about and it's taking a lot of power of my mind to think about it. That to get the decision of being an athlete again, not that easy to be honest. And this is my hardest challenge right now, harder than even making a sumo team in an Arab country.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you know, one of the things that I put, and this is not really a question, but just something I want to say to you. One of the things I personally have a lot of respect for, as well as your achievements in sports, is the what I said earlier, the authenticity. You know, the fact that you're true to yourself, and you sort of go the way that is right for you, and it's not sort of forced on you by other people, if that makes sense. You know, and I just that's not really a question, but it's just something that I think in the world that we live in today, you know, people don't have that. People will do anything for likes and views and you know to be part and to do this and do that. Whereas you're so true to yourself, and it's not really a question. It's just something that I got a lot of respect for that man. You know, especially in the world we live in today. Um, you know, the choices you've made, they're not easy, but they're obviously the right choices for you, which is all that matters in the end.
That's what matters. What's the
Yeah,
right for you? So
yeah.
the right now, the right for me is it to be a full-time sumo wrestler, or to focus on one thing, to focus on what I'm doing, to focus on your plans. The decision you take is what's going to affect you tomorrow. So whatever is it, and you can have the full power to carry the whole responsibility for that decision, take it with no hesitation.
Mm. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good wisdom, but it's just, you know, it's not even something I plan to say or anything like that. It's just honestly, man, it's you know, in the world that we live in, and don't get me wrong, I do even with sumo, and I respect the sport and I respect their traditions and everything, but it's just the way that you've chosen your own path. So moving back into the future, just to talk about the last couple of things. Obviously, you mentioned at the beginning about your dream to open up. Well, basically to broaden sumo in the different Arab countries and things like that. Obviously, there's a bit of coaching that you're doing as well, which I'm aware of. So, is that going to be your focus now going forward as well? I mean, because we've said about the MMA, you're considering the MMA, maybe not. We'll see. So that's cool. But in terms of the coaching side of things and the giving back and the opening of more sumo schools and that type of thing, is that your main focus for the future? Maybe over the next 2 years,
So
5 years?
yes, okay.
Yeah.
For the main focus for me, so when I was in Japan, they teach us the history books. Sumo was originally brought from Egypt,
Mm,
and they have a picture of Egyptian tombs with some techniques, and they call it this is sumo techniques. So Japanese themselves, they believe that the first people who did sumo was Egyptian, the ancient Egyptian. So honestly, since the very first day when I saw that, I had that dream why sumo shouldn't be that big, not in Egypt, in all Arab countries,
Mm.
as here in Japan. And right now, when when I try to, when I'm going so deep in that, and I'm getting involved with like a minister of sports in Egypt, minister of sports in Dubai, a minister of sports in Emirat, and Emirates, dude, it's not easy at all. Like when you keep like explaining about the value of this sport and how this sport is the oldest sport in the history, how good is it, how it's going to help you get, like, it will, you know, help you with the economy, with a lot of things. Everybody focuses on one thing, which is the way they get dressed, and that way will not be acceptable to the Arabic culture. And when you try to explain, hey, they can wear shorts, it keep going in a circle around and around. And it has been like 4 months right now. I'm trying to avoid this point with everybody, and hopefully, you know, they will get over it. That it's not just, it's not the way they look. You can cover that with so many things. But if honestly, if the sumo started at least in one big Arab countries like Emirates or Qatar or Saudi Arabia, this is going to be a big change. If it started in only one country, it will start in the rest of the countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and since like Egypt has a strong team in it, and right now they have an African competition. They have like Morocco, they have South Africa, and they have Senegal and Ghana as well. But
Mm.
those countries still, sumo there is still poor. Even in Egypt, sumo is very poor. I'm sorry, like the sumo is at the same association like judo. It's the same. It's called the Federation of Sumo, Judo, Aikido, and there's two other sports in the same association.
Mm.
So if you're like in Egypt, they're gonna put all the money in judo. So because this is the Olympic Games, so nobody will care about sumo. So nobody uh, will hear about sumo until there's a championship.
Mm.
Otherwise, the 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 wrestlers, they in Egypt, they have the life, and they know nothing about sumo unless there's 1 month before the championship. I want to change all of that. Hey, like, you can live a life from sumo if you have like a good sport. If you take care of this sport, it will literally give you a full-time job. This will be your full-time job, but if you take care of it, not just in sumo, any other sports, if we take care of it well. Look at the MMA here. So if you if you can ask the young generation right now, what sports you wanna do, he gonna tell you, I wanna do UFC. He won't say MMA. He will say, I want to do UFC. UFC is just an association of MMA, but it's just an association who knew how to represent this sport well. Nihon Sumo Kyokai, or the Japanese Sumo Association, is not sumo. Japanese Sumo Association is an association who knew how to represent sumo to the people. So that's why that's how we, like, I wish to copy paste this way of treating sports, of treating dealing with the sports, like the UFC deal with MMA, like the Japanese sumo association deal with sumo. I wanna copy this to the Arab world. If that happened, I'm pretty sure everything, it will change 100%.
Absolutely. Well, it's an incredible dream, and it's something that I wish you the very best of luck. I believe that the future
Finger crossed,
is
my friend.
I believe the future is bright with that because you've got the
Thank you.
passion to push it forward. I mean, your passion, it really comes over, and that's what it takes. For this type of thing, that strong energy.
Exactly.
And I believe you'll make it happen. Moving into the pretty much the last thing, because we've talked about some good stuff, and I don't want to take up loads and loads of your time. But obviously, in terms of your supporters around the world and the people who support you, whether it's supporting you with your fighting career, whether it's now supporting you with the future and these plans that you have and things like that, I like to close out interviews with sort of a thank you to the fans, or people's final words for the fans, because sports as a whole is nothing without them. I mean, obviously we have the dedication of the fighters, of the athletes, the coaches, trainers, and everyone else who's involved. But without people paying to watch it, nothing happens. So in terms of your loyal fans, and I'm talking about the positive ones now who've been good to you,
True.
in terms of encouragement, what would you say to them? People watching this around the world who've supported you, basically.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who still, I won't say cheer for Ōsunaarashi, who's still supporting me as an athlete and as a human being. At the end, I just want to say a few words. I'm my name is Abdurrahman Shalan. After I was called that name, then I went to Japan and they called me Ōsunaarashi. Both the same man, both just a human being. So human being do mistakes. Human being live the life. Human being has only one life. So I was a sumo wrestler. I retired from sumo. I tried MMA. I didn't like it. And right now I'm living a very normal life. I'm still the same man. I still have the same passion. Doesn't matter. However, I put that passion in sumo. I put that passion in MMA. I put that passion in coaching, or even I put that passion on my kids. I'm still the same person. And I wish everybody treat themselves like this way. Be the same person with the same passion. And having the same passion doesn't mean you gotta stick. I'm sorry to say that, but it doesn't mean you gotta stick your ass to the same thing. No, you gotta you this is how you're gonna learn. You will learn not from mistakes, you will learn from seeing a new things, from seeing a new culture, from seeing a new people. This is life, and this is, for me, this is the way to enjoy the life, to be honest. So thanks to everyone, and thanks to you for giving me the opportunity to say a lot of things. I never talk about it, but thank you, man.
It's my pleasure. I mean, it's been a great pleasure to have you on here, and
Thank you.
I'm glad that you say that, because we hopefully we've done things a little bit differently, and hopefully we've got like your side of the story, if you like, on certain
Yeah, of
subjects
course.
that that people may not be as clear on, and that's what I aim for. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Obviously, you've got more of
Thank
your
you.
day left than I have. It's evening over here. But yes, enjoy that. Best wishes to you and your family. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.